Good day, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go over today some weird, very strange Reddit post. The weirdest person ever, Stephan Sterns. Also, we're going to go over some info that I found out about Jen. All right, so the first post, this gives some information about the mother, Jen. And I'm having kind of a hard time with this little thing right here. So in some way, well, actually in every way, she would appear as a victim in this. But the possibility that she's involved seems to be greater and greater as the days go by and as we find out more information. So it's like sometimes I feel really kind of messed up about even going there with her because she could just be a victim in all this. But right now, it's questionable because let's not forget, when you're telling the truth, your story is going to always be consistent. It's going to be the same. It's never changing. It's always going to be the same. But with her story and then the official report coming out, that affidavit the other day, it said that she claims to have seen her daughter at 8 a.m. on the day that she vanished. But then in the interview, remember the interview where she's actually live on TV, right there she says that the last time she saw her daughter was the night before. So it's left all of us going like, well, which one is it? What's the deal here? Okay, after doing a deep dive on the mom's socials, I have a few findings that help paint the picture on a theory. Let me make sure you guys can see. Hold on. Okay, but also open up more questions. Mom was overweight and underwent gastric sleeve weight loss surgery sometime in early 2018. After the surgery, she makes posts mentioning how much more confidence she has in her appearance. There is a post in February 2018 on Instagram where she is out partying with female friends and uses hashtags about them all being single, such as single ladies. So that would indicate February 2018 that maybe they still didn't, know each other, perhaps. Almost 1 month later to the date, she posts a series of photos at the aquarium with Madeline and the suspect. This is the first time the suspect appears in any photos on her Instagram. Mom had appeared to be gaining some of the weight back over the last year. Nothing drastic like before the surgery, but certainly noticeable as you scroll through her photos. Okay, some thoughts on the findings. I had no idea the suspect was in the picture that far back. If she was single in February 2018 and he was on the excursion with them the next month, how much time has passed between her meeting him and then bringing him into her daughter's life? Perhaps they were already starting to date at that time she made the, quote, single ladies post. But it certainly feels like a very quick turnaround to introduce a stranger to your young child. Yeah, true. I believe that a woman with self-confidence issues is willing to overlook a lot to protect or keep a man in her life whom she's desperately afraid of losing, especially as her daughter is beginning to blossom into a beautiful young woman, while she herself is maybe starting to gain back some of the weight that was lost by her surgery. Jealousy, denial. Okay. I had no idea this. Oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. Ultimately, I wholeheartedly reject the idea that abuse was going on in the home for years with the mom being completely unaware. Sorry, not buying it. No chance. To what extent she knew is worth a debate. Whether she outright inexplicably knew the details of the abuse or whether she turned a blind eye to obvious signs, either unspoken or outright hints from her daughter, remain to be seen. Well, by the way, I got this post about 2 days. Yeah, probably 2 days before that report came out the other day, indicating that she most certainly changed her story as far as, when she last saw her daughter. But anyway, let's carry on. Let's see. Turn a blind eye to obvious signs, either an unspoken or outright hints from her daughter, remains to be seen. But if the material was, quote, allegedly being filmed inside her home for God knows how long, then there is one of three possible outcomes. She legitimately had no clue about any of this and is the absolute dumbest person walking the face of the earth, She outright knew about the abuse and engaged in it as well, and or allowed it to continue. Or 3, she purposely ignored or dismissed obvious signs, hints, warnings due to self-confidence issues because she was afraid of losing her relationship and put that ahead of her daughter's well-being. All right, let me look at you guys here. Yeah, so many red flags. I agree. You know, the level of abuse that he engaged in, that he perpetrated on this precious, she would have been, I guess, 11 when this started. And who knows, it could have even been before that. What if there's a backup phone that stores much more of this on that they hadn't found yet, right? That's very possible too. But the level of abuse is just so hard to even comprehend because it's just so evil. The boundaries crossed that this little girl, especially if she did talk to her mom about it and her mom, let's say, did ignore it, because there's posts like that on Facebook and it could just be people BSing, making up stories. But there was one post in particular that said that I think it was Maddie was confiding in some of her friends, and these friends knew that she was being abused. And I guess that she had gone to her mom, told her mom what was going on, and mom didn't believe her, which is the story of so many, unfortunately. Here she said, let's see. Maddie Diamond Hand said, I wouldn't be surprised if he got Maddie P, and that's why he ended her life. Just speculation. I know a lot of us are thinking that. It seems perfectly reasonable. I mean, it had to have been something big to make him feel that that was the only option out, right? That this couldn't go on anymore. Could it also be that maybe that morning, like let's just say that he really was going to take her to school. What if she rebuffed his offer, in the car or something, and then he just, I don't even want to say it, but you know what I mean? Now, obviously, there's a gap of time, right? From the morning time when mom claims to have seen her to 1:20 p.m. when that passerby who sees Stefan changing the tire. Now, that's at like 1:20 p.m. And this person claims to have not seen anybody else in the car at that time. So maybe, I'm just going to say it, the prick had just put her body somewhere at that point. I kind of think so. So was he just driving around with the body in the back? Like, really? It's insane. Yeah. Unfathomable. Right, Alicia? Yeah. It's crazy. In my opinion, her mom is more involved, Kathy says. Hey, Kathy. Yeah, it honestly looks that way right now, doesn't it? Like, what does she know? Again, I go back to stories don't change if you're telling the truth. So what is the truth? And then, like, did you see the mom, or excuse me, the grandmother? So Jen's mother's interview. She was just as like non-emotional as Jen was. I think you guys know what I'm talking about, but let me pull it just in case. I'm going to play, this is going to be J is for Justice's video.
Everyone, welcome back to J is for Justice. I have a video of Madeline, Soto's grandma, doing an interview, except it's in Spanish. So the lovely Diana HB was kind enough to translate this for us. Let's take a listen to Madeline's grandma. But my daughter worked the night before, Sunday, and it seems she woke very tired and asked the boyfriend to bring her, Maddie, to her. That's the last we know. Is it common for him to pick the girl up? Was it part of the routine? No, it was always my daughter. In the church footage, you can see a girl with a green sweater. She sits in the parking lot and waits. Minutes later, she gets up and heads towards the school. That's the last we know of her. And every day that goes by is worse because one loses hope. After almost 3 days of disappearing, we don't know what else to do. My thoughts are that someone's took her away. I wish we had more from the grandma. This is all I could find. If you guys find any interviews, feel free to email to the team email.
Okay, again, that was Jay is for Justice. That was Grandma. That was Jen Soto's mother. She has what seems to be like an insurance office that, remember, Jen Soto was talking about in that interview where she says like that Maddie was dropped off and it was very close to her mom's work. That this is the mom that she's talking about right there. Anyway, what I noticed about mom right here is she kind of lacks the emotion too. You got to think, like, at this point, Madeline's been missing for 3 days and grandma doesn't, and I hate to judge her like that, but I mean, come on. If this was your granddaughter, I know I have a lot of people who watch that are grandmothers, right? If this is your granddaughter who's missing, aren't you going to be beside yourself? You know, does she come from a long line of no emotion? I don't know. It kind of seems like that, though, when you look at grandma. Grandma maybe is a little more concerned about the photo op. Oops, not nice of me to say, but true, right? Than granddaughter. And that's concerning to me. It really is. Yeah, that stoicism. Oh, wait, where was the comment? Hold on. There we go. Chantilly. That stoicism is sketchy. It is sketchy. Right. Your granddaughter's missing 3 days and you're not just totally like weeping. This is your grandbaby. You know, you've seen them since a baby at that point, and they're not accounted for. You don't know where they are. You don't know what happened to them. And that's it. And then there is, like somebody was saying, there is another interview with grandma. I might be able to find it, but you know, it's all in Spanish. That's the thing. I can understand just a little bit of Spanish, but not much. But what I understand from that interview is she says that Maddie was afraid of everything, didn't want to sleep alone, that she would never be the type to run away. You know what? Let me try to find it. I think it does have subtitles. Here we go.
Ella es una niña.
Okay, she's a little. You know what? Let me just read it to you. Just a second. Let's go back. Sorry, guys. Okay, this Wednesday when we talked to her, I think she can't do that. This could be a poor translation.
Yo creo que ella no puede hacer eso. Ella es una niña.
She's a little girl, like with so many fears, so much. She doesn't sleep alone, and I don't think she can leave or run away from home.
Irse de su casa.
Su abuela agregó que
The secretary added that they were celebrating his birthday this Sunday. I think, again, poor translation. I think it means her secretary added that they were celebrating her birthday this Sunday.
Estuvieron celebrando su cumpleaños y que no notó ningún comportamiento.
And that she did not notice any behavior that could indicate plans to flee.
Que pudiese indicar planes de huir.
Ella estaba muy, muy feliz.
Very happy. She had her friends from, let me just make sure you guys are saying this. Okay, good. She had her friends from, I think, school.
Tuvo sus amiguitas de la escuela, que son dos amiguitas.
She had a great
Estuvo muy bien, la pasó feliz, contenta.
A happy time. She took many pictures, hugging her family.
Abrazaba a su familia.
En casos como estos, cada minuto cuenta.
Every minute counts.
Si conoce
If you know
información que pudiese
information
ayudar
that could help find her whereabouts,
para dar con su paradero, es esencial que se comunique con la policía.
So anyway, she kind of spoke on, you know, that Madeline was not the type to flee. I want to hear from you. Let me read a few of these Reddit posts, and then I'm going to open up the phone. We can maybe take like some calls, and you guys call in. Who wants to do that? Are you good with that? I'll get the phone number ready. Then I'll read like 2 or 3 of his stupid, idiotic Reddit posts. Innocuous, but finding people to date. Okay, finding people to date that haven't spent all their teens and 20s in the sun with minimal sun protection, making them all look like a 70-year-old Clint Eastwood, plus all the emotional baggage and kids from first marriages or absent fathers. Honestly, dating in or after your 30s is a shit show these days. One begins to understand the DiCaprio strategy, which, by the way, what is the DiCaprio strategy? That is dating women that are much younger than you. And if you saw that recent interview with, it was on Grey Hughes' channel. Hold on. Who was the person? I believe it was the no. I'm sorry. It was on T-Riff's. It was on T-Riff's channel. He had somebody on there who knew Stefan, but he knew him as Steven. And he said that Stefan would go after 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. If that's any indication how sick this guy is. So the DiCaprio strategy is dating women much younger than you. He right here in the most overt ways admits that he goes after youngins. And we're talking much younger. It's very gross. All right, next one. Okay. Yes, it's a creepy and scary thing to talk about. But yes, it's true. I grew up some not so very nice places and had a fairly violent life in my childhood and teenage years. It's also why I now have a boatload of PTSD. And it's also why I know these things to be true. I'm sorry if this sort of topic makes you uncomfortable. It's just the truth of the world. It's not always a nice place, and justice doesn't always come to those who deserve it. Okay. So here's somebody's post. Everything you say is technically true, but pointless and creepy because you, okay, so this is what somebody said to him, right? Everything you say is technically true, but pointless and creepy because you are using the fact that some people are monsters to seemingly justify committing atrocities in the name of feelings. You are a danger to society if you believe you can just murder someone because they said something you disagree with or don't like. Yes, we can all get assaulted for no reason at all for looking at a paranoid person a certain way. That's usually pointless to bring up unless you want to use it as an excuse to use violence yourself. The aggression in your tone heavily suggests that you would be the type to assault people around you for no good reason. So I hope you get the help you visibly need before you start abusing your girlfriend for using your Lorcana cards without your permission. Now, keep in mind, this is from at least 6 months ago, okay? So now the dumbass responds, yes, it's a creepy and scary thing to talk about, but yes, it's true. I grew up in some, okay, and then that's the post. So you know what? I'm sorry, I put it in reverse order, but so that's the post that he just said. Yes, it's a creepy and scary thing to talk about, but yes, it's true. I grew up in not so very nice places and had a fairly violent life in my childhood and teenage years. It's also why I now have a boatload of PTSD. Also, it's also why I know these things to be true. I'm sorry if this is sort of topic makes you uncomfortable. It's just the truth of the world. It's not always a nice place, and justice doesn't always come to those who deserve it. Honestly, I seriously wonder if this dude has struck before. Who else wonders that? Has this guy done this before? Before precious little Madeline? Because the way he talks, and I don't know that we'll get into those right now, but some of the posts, he really said like, the justice system is so backwards that a lot of people that get killed there will never be any sort of, reconciliation of that or a way to rectify it. Like no charges for most people. Yeah, I do too. I think he's done it before. So many lies to weave through. Definitely other victims. I agree. By the way, guys, while you're here, please, please, please do me a solid. Could you hit the like button right now? Please. Thank you. Let's get back into the post and then I'll have you guys call in if you want to, okay? Here we go. Back to this moron. All right. He says, am I threatening you? No. Untwist your panties, please. He's so aggressive. He's such an idiot. Okay. Untwist your panties, please. And for you to successfully have face those consequences, it requires you to be able to tell the police exactly who it was and have some sort of proof. If you piss off a random stranger, they can absolutely knock you the F out and simply walk away. It's an unfortunate fact. I don't understand why this concept seems so hard for you to grasp. The world doesn't work the way it does in all those police shows. They don't always find, okay, this is the one. They don't always find their suspect. In fact, the majority of the time, unless they have a solid evidence and a way to positively identify and find the perpetrator, nothing will happen. This type of thing happens all the time. You can look up the stats yourself. It's easy to Google. And then somebody says, it requires you to be able to tell the police exactly who it was and have some sort of proof. Well, it's a good thing Target parking lots aren't full of people and under surveillance. Oh, wait, seems like you need to look up some stats on people being arrested for fighting in Walmart and Target parking lots, because that shit happens daily. And then hopefully I got this one right. Okay, I'm quite aware of this. Now I need you to go ahead and look up the stats I told you about, because you clearly have not done that. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's my day off of work and about time to get out there. Hold on, and get out there. I don't know. I guess that was the end of the post. Okay, so then he says, okay, so take offense. Now what? Okay, so this is another crazy post where he basically insults all parents, biological parents. Okay, so take offense. Now what? Having a baby doesn't mean that you are the only person in the world who has experienced any sort of excruciating pain. Have you ever been run over by a truck and dragged under the vehicle across pavement to the point that your flesh is shredded off down to the muscle fibers in several locations? That hurts pretty damn bad. Ask me how I know. Oh, there you go. Hold on. Let me explain this in case you don't know this. So what he's talking about right here, he got ran over by a lifted Toyota. Some of you guys might know that already, but he is, so that's like this chip on his shoulder. That's one of the many, clearly. Ask me how he knows, or ask me how I know, he says. All right. Let's see. That hurts pretty damn bad. Ask me how I know. So does shattering your knee. So do a lot of things that I'm sure you've never experienced or even contemplated once in your life. Pain is human. Pain is life. Pain is not unique to any one person or gender. So let's not get into a pissing contest. Oh boy. It's hard to read as him. It's like reading as Barry Morphew. I don't know if you guys remember that one time well, for those who have been here for a while, I actually read Barry Morphew's affidavit, and I had to read as him in several posts, like several of the, the different like legal documents. It was excruciating to read as him because he's such an idiot, right? And so is this guy. Yes, he does want attention, Trisha. He wants a lot of attention. And anonymously posting these ridiculous things is like why? Like what did he have to gain from doing this? I don't understand it. All right, let's read a couple more and then I'll let you guys call it and you can voice your thoughts, okay? All right, here we go. Oh, so unless you're a human, so unless you're a woman, you're not allowed to have any sort of opinion on whether or not you deserve special treatment for having a baby. For new mothers, certainly. But how long should this treatment last? Your whole life? And then somebody says, you can have an opinion, but you don't have to simplify and understate someone else's struggles. When you give that opinion, especially, it is something you have not, if it is something you have not experienced. I happen to agree with your opinion. Actually, I agree that people should not get ahead in the line for any reason, but I take offense to the way you talk about moms and newborn babies. This is very hard. So then he says, okay, so take offense. Now what? Having a baby doesn't mean that you're the only person in the world who has experienced any sort of excruciating pain. Have you ever been run over by a truck and dragged under the vehicle across pavement to the point that your flesh is shredded off down your muscle fibers in several locations? That hurts pretty damn bad too. Ask me how I know. So, okay, this is that other silly post. So anyway, now we have context to that post. He's such a moron. What was I thought of something I was going to say right here. This jogged my memory, but what was it? Oh yeah, I was going to say, you know, I kind of wonder if maybe he sought Jen out because she had a daughter, right? Does that make sense? I know there's a lot of really nutty people out there, like, you know, in this pedophile, actually, I can't even say that word, pedo sphere out there. And it's like these particular type, of course, they're going to try harder to get the ones that have kids, right? I mean, my mom was telling me this story, I don't know, in the last like year or two. When I was growing up, my brother and I, you know, my mom was a single mom. And so she raised us just the best she could. But there were a lot of guys that would try to come into her life. And she felt it was because she had kids and they were a little bit off. So I don't think much has changed in that 30 plus years since she was doing it. Of course, it's only gotten worse, right? With the accelerating, like the factor of you got the internet now, you've got people with weird sort of fixations and interests. Oh, that reminds me too, you guys, I was investigating Stefan today. Oh my gosh, I so regret what I found. It was so gross. I haven't seen anything that disgusting in a long time. I type in this address and it takes me straight to a, I think you guys know. Yeah, I think you guys know what I'm about to say. We'll just say the guy was doing things to himself. And this was Stefan's like homepage. I was like, oh God, this is so gross. I can't stand that. So anyway, it was an accident. I ran across this homepage and just about barfed. I sent Donna a message. I'm like, Donna, I saw the worst thing. Anyway, let's get back to one more post. Yeah, what I found was, it was not good. It was not what I wanted to see at all. By total accident. That's what you get though when you're investigating these weirdos, especially ones that like things that are a little different, right? Not a little different, a lot of different. All right, next post. Oh yeah, this one is this takes the cake of degenerate comments. Check this out. People should try keeping their legs closed sometime, or try birth control, condoms, or hell, even pulling out, and stop trying to make themselves out to be some sort of martyr for literally getting laid and blanking out a baby. Like that's some sort of special accomplishment. People have done it since the dawn of humanity. Come down off your cross. And then somebody says, just because it has been happening for a long time does not make it easier. You don't just squirt out a baby. It would say the male equivalent would be stuffing a fist in your pee hole. You think there is no way, but then it has to happen anyway, and you tear from your V to your A. The difference there, and then Stefan says, the difference there being that this is so not worth even reading. Pee hole is not and never was intended to stretch like that, whereas a blank naturally intended purpose is exactly that, birthing, hence why it is so incredibly elastic. Anyway, he's talking about this stuff online. This isn't even the worst of it. He gets into these like teen chats where he's talking to, obviously, you know, as an anonymous person to anonymous people. He's talking about very personal stuff, posting screenshots of his stepdaughter, his girlfriend's daughter. We shouldn't even call her his stepdaughter. It's not right. Okay, by the way, I put the number in, and while we wait, I can always read more posts. Okay, so it's ready to receive calls. I hope my internet's doing well in here. I'm in a different room than normal, so hopefully it's fine. Okay, guys, I'm ready to receive calls if you want to call. Speaking to?
Hey, Lauren.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good, thanks. I'm glad you're calling. What are your thoughts?
So, you know, I feel like recently, every single day, it feels like there's another between, I don't know, 7 and 13 or 15-year-old snatched and raped and murdered
I
by
know.
some disgusting filth monster,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like these people, like, where is the accountability? You know,
Yes.
like, I mean, I'm assuming I'm anonymous, correct?
Hold on. Say that part one more time.
I said I'm assuming I'm anonymous, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm
You're
calling
totally
you
anonymous.
anonymous?
Please. Yeah. Feel
Okay,
free. Yeah.
So, you know, my sister was, you know, assaulted by my father and a law enforcement officer and another person
Oh my gosh.
for years, and, you know, no accountability. And, you know, I feel like it's just absolute bullshit.
It
you
is
know?
bullshit.
And it's like destroyed her whole life,
Yes.
you know, and she's turned into like an evil, you know, just like can't have any type of relationship.
Oh.
And so, you know, I mean, I've like had to, you know, go no contact. And so because it's just, you can't, you know, deal with her.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, my grandmother swore on her deathbed that, you know, he had also molested, you know, me, and, you know, it's like, and that led to, like, you know, incest in our family and whatever, you know, between all like the cousins and whatever, and it's just like,
Yeah,
absolutely creepy. You know, I
it
mean,
is.
this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is little kids. I mean, we're talking like 6, 7, 8-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know any better. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, they have no, like, concept of, like, right and wrong. You know?
Absolutely.
And then, you know, to mental health problems amongst some so severe that took their lives and whatever.
Yeah.
And this is like, and this is because of disgusting pedophiles.
It's horrible. I think they should just be like executed. Seriously. Make the world a better place.
Why there's not, I don't, like, I just can't grasp why, like, why victims aren't believed immediately, why are they allowed to get away with it? You know, I can recall going to do a rape kit with a friend.
Yeah.
And she was like, the way she was treated, like what you have to go through when you go through a rape kit, it's like, might as well just rape them all over again.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Re-victimizing for sure, because it's
the bright lights, the 50 million questions, the scraping for hair samples,
yeah,
the nails, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, oh, your friend could be here, but they can't be like literally right next to you. And, you know, it's like,
yeah,
I just can't, like, you know, makes you like, if you know that that's what goes on, then you definitely aren't going to want to like report, you know, why? Because you feel, you know what's going to happen.
Yes.
You know, I mean, and obviously if you know that there's DNA evidence on you, then you're going to want to, you know, get the DNA evidence off. But I just, like, you know, like, I mean, geographically, like, I know exactly where this is.
Yes.
You know, like, I mean, I don't want to say more than that, but geographically, I literally know exactly where this is. And it's just, you know,
horrible.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, and there's plenty of law enforcement. There's, you know, I mean, it's like basically Disney law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of law enforcement there because of the transient population, because of tourists.
Yes.
So you have to understand that there's plenty of law enforcement in the, you know, Orange, Osceola County area, the Kissimmee, the, you know, Orlando areas, all those areas, there's plenty. And when they said that, the neighborhood is like an area where these people wouldn't have worries about this kid walking to school. No, it's not a bad area, but because there's plenty of law enforcement. Because why? Because it's a tourist area.
Of course. Yep.
Because there's like millions of taxpayer dollars going into that. You know what I'm saying? Because all of the money that's made from the mouse brings all the money. You know what I'm saying? They do not want anybody going missing or having a story out around the mouse. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The mouse is like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
No, this is like, and so they're trying to distance it as much as possible from any area,
of course. Yeah, it kills tourism. Yeah.
You have to understand that this is like, Kissimmee 192 is 192 is where every single hotel for Orlando is, for Disney is.
Yeah.
That's if you're not staying at Disney, you're staying on 192.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
I gotcha.
The media definitely spins this, there's plenty of law enforcement there. Anyway,
well, thank you.
Right, yeah, and I appreciate your shows too, and what you do with Donna as well. So.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, I sure will. Anyways.
Okay, bye. Thanks for sharing your story. Bye.
Oh yeah, no worries. I just, I feel like, somebody's got to speak up for these kids, man. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Like, you got to do change has got to come somehow.
It does.
You know,
it needs
when
to come
6-year-old kids are like shooting their teachers in school.
It's
know what I'm saying?
insane.
Like,
yeah.
It's like these things that happen. It's nuts. Anyways, you have a great day.
Okay,
I'll
you
let
too.
somebody else call in and talk to you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Bye. That's the thing, guys. It's so common to hear these stories of a creepy stepdad, creepy mom's friend, creepy whatever you want to call them, just going too far. And that's putting it so lightly, right? But I have to be careful for YouTube. Invading little girls, little boys, like it ruins people's lives. When is it going to stop? It's been going on forever. I can think of so many people right now who have that same story, right? Where new dad comes into the mom's life and then he's sneaking into the room, and this is too common. But why? Why is it so common? What is it in some men that makes them feel like they have to do that? First of all, I can't begin to try to understand it. It just bothers me immensely. I have a story offhand for you guys as we wait for the phone call, which I should say real quick. 602, what is it? Hold on. I always forget this number. Why? Okay, 602-456-6695. You call and you'll get through. There is a person I know of who does the single mom thing. Her daughter was talking to me in the last 6 months. Her daughter, this girl's daughter, is very disgruntled about her childhood. Okay. She said that at one point, her mom's boyfriend asked for a menage a trois. Okay. Hopefully you're tracking what that is. I'm sure you are. And this mother did not kick the guy out on his ass. Didn't kick him out at all. Just laughed it off. The daughter told me that information, and I was like, how could your mom still be with him after that? Like, moms, we have to do better. I'm not blaming you, but loneliness is never an excuse to let some loser around your kids. Your kids are worth so much more than any relationship. We just have to establish that. So anyway, when she told me that story, it blew my mind. I'm like, how would that not be enough to just kick him right out on his ass? But it wasn't. It wasn't to her. It was funny. Wow. That is so scary, right? Luckily, the daughter is completely opposite of her mother. She's very responsible. She's a good mother herself now. But I was just blown away because I've known this person forever, okay, for many, many years. And I've watched her bring the mother of the girl, bring many, many different guys. Every time I visit, there's a new guy, new boyfriend. And I'm like, how does that work over the long haul? You have that many different boyfriends. Didn't marry any of them, but we're talking totally moved in and everything. It's like, it wasn't good for the kids, needless to say. I'm not going to be judgy here, but we'll just say it wasn't good. It wasn't a good thing at all. All right, let me read some of your comments while we wait. If you want to call, take one more phone call, guys, and then I better go. It's been awesome to hang out with you all. Okay, CSI, divorced in 2013, haven't had men in my home since then. Good, CSI. I understand that. If a guy wants to date me, he can take me out no matter how long we're together. There you go. Yeah, that's good. I like that. And it's safe for, I take it, children, there's not as much to worry about. You bring a guy around your kids, you have to worry. What are they doing? What are they saying to your kids? How are they acting around them when you're not there? And honestly, I think Jen Soto was not paying attention to these cues potentially, or she was complicit. I think it's one or the other. Alicia says, no way in hell I'd put a man ahead of my kids ever. Same here. I know. But not everybody is like that. And that's what bugs me. Like, you have to care about your kids. You brought them into this world. It is your duty, no matter how hard it can be at times, to nurture them, care for them, guide them, be with them. When they're scared, when they need you're there. Just show up. And not enough moms are, in my opinion. And not enough dads are either, right? I'm not just blaming moms here, but gotta be careful with these losers. These guys that just come into your life and they're more interested in being with your kids than you. Like, that's a big problem. Yeah, be real. Amen. She says, nope, children come first. That's my girl. Definitely. Yeah. Let's see. Let me give you the number real quick again. 602-456-6695. If you want to call and voice your opinion about all this insanity. I'll take one more phone call and then I will go. In the meantime, I guess I could read some more of this idiotic posts. How about that? Okay, I have an angel gotchi. So these are Tamagotchis. Do you guys remember what Tamagotchis are? From like the late 90s? They're like these automated little, what do they look like? They almost look like little key, like if you have your key clicker thing, right? They're like that size. And then they have a screen. And then the Tamagotchi little, whatever it is being, has human needs. So it can go to the bathroom. It needs to eat. I think like the egg hatches. So anyway, he's obsessed with these Tamagotchis, which is kind of strange for him being 37 years old. So right here, he's talking about his Tamagotchi. He says, I have an angel gotchi, short for Tamagotchi, that my stepdaughter wants as well. I'll probably end up gifting it to her since it was a pink one that was mistakenly delivered to me instead of the white version I had ordered. And that was in response to Tamagotchi talk from 1977. It's like, I don't get it. But whatever. All right. Okay, this is where he's talking to teenagers, I think. Teenagers of Reddit. What is some advice for 14-year-old boys? For 14-year-old boys who has a hard time talking to girls. Okay, so here's Lover Boy's input about how to deal with women. Check this out. Focus on the ability to just be friendly with girls and not expect anything from them. If you have no expectations, then you have no reason to be nervous. And don't try too hard or get up in your head about it. They're just people like you. You are just two people talking to each other. No need to be overly nervous about it. Just relax and treat the encounter like any other normal interaction. And you will eventually become more comfortable and able to pick up on social cues and then return that interest in a calm and cool manner. Okay. Now, what is this one? I'm trying to remember. It can be a joke. Oh, this is when he's trying to make people feel better about the fact that we all die one day. Check this out. He says, we're all in it together. Make the best of it while you can, and don't worry about something that is inevitable and entirely beyond your control. The good news is, when you die, your problems and worries will no longer exist, and you will probably not know that you are dead, and there likely won't be any dark void or sense of self to be aware of anything. You just won't be anymore, and you'll be too dead to know or care about it. No one knows with absolute certainty what happens after, except those that have gone before, but they aren't coming back to tell us about it. We're not alone in this, and it's something that everyone must eventually come to terms with. Life can feel like a joke sometimes, and death is the punchline. Our lives are short and difficult, and the world can be cruel, and we will spend our whole lives just trying to survive. Our reward at the end will still be death. Just run your race, be good to the people you care for, and make hay while the sun shines. Think of your death as a reward at the end of your journey and your troubles, like the final nap to beat all naps. The best sleep you'll ever have, like going home. Don't rush to meet it, but understand that we all have our day, and don't be afraid when your day comes. Just live your life and try to enjoy all the little things that make you, I can't see the last word, crazy. Such a, yes, CSI, such a philosopher. Oh my gosh. Hey, Elizabeth Gregory. Good to see ya. Thanks for coming. Guys, real quick, while you're here, please, all at once, 1, 2, 3, hit that like button, please. I beg you. It really does help a lot with the algorithm. I think Jen was describing herself. Well, that was Loverboy. That was Stefan. Ugh. Yeah, crazy, huh? All right, guys, if nobody calls, I'm going to be done with this here in the next like 2-3 minutes. So this is your last call. Here's the number, 602-456-6695. Grab the number, give me a call, and then we'll be done, okay? Let's see. Yeah, good question, Trish Allen. If so forgetful, wouldn't you make sure she had her phone? That's the thing, is like, did Jen see her that night, the night of the birthday, or did she see her in the morning? Honestly, you know what my husband thinks? And I think he could be right. He thinks that Stefan may have done this in the middle of the night. And that maybe, because see, mom came out on Spanish TV and mom said, grandmother said on Spanish TV that when Jen got up that day, or maybe didn't get up that day, she was really super tired. So she supposedly slept in, and that's why Stefan took Madeline to school. So is it possible that maybe, if that's how it went, that maybe he had killed her in the middle of the night, and that's why at 7:35, I think it was 7:35, he's getting rid of things, right? And then taking her away from the home. I think he was spotted, at 8 something with her in the vehicle. And then again, at 1:20, he's seen from a passerby in that area where her body was found. And that person says that they saw him like changing a flat tire. So what, again, I ask, what happened in that time frame? Or was he just driving around aimlessly with her body in the vehicle? Like, there's a lot of, this is very mysterious. We don't know. We really don't know, like, what happened in that time frame, or was Jen with him? The passerby said, though, that they didn't see anybody else in the vehicle, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of it. Yeah, why would not, I know. Nomi says, why would mom have Maddie's birthday on a day where mom could not attend? Okay, sorry guys. That was weird. My finger hit the back area accidentally and it got out of it. So you guys can see me, right? Just want to, okay, I think you can. Yeah, it's weird. It's strange that mom did not attend this birthday. That would seem, that's off to me. As a mother, you always you're at your kids' birthdays like 99.99% of the time. So why wouldn't that have been mom's priority that day? You know, and I understand work schedules, they not fun. But like switch shifts, you know, there's a lot of possibilities out there to make sure that you can be at your kid's birthday. So I'm just not sure why that wasn't the priority, right? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry I clicked out of that accidentally. That was a pain. Anyway, I better go. Thank you so much for being here, for interacting today. I really hope for justice for Madeline. She was dealt the worst life, in my opinion. She didn't deserve any of it. And this disgusting person just took her life out. He deserves to pay with his own life, in my opinion. That just seems like the right thing, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, I hope you have the best weekend. Lots of love to you and yours. If you could please make sure that, I hate to ask, but hit the like button. It does help. It's a one way to help, okay? Thanks, guys. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.